Today, we're talking about zombies. Yes, I'm making fun of it, but the fact is, the truth is, shtf happens. Zombie day, zombie land, zombie apocalypse, zombie movies, zombie whatever. Is it going to happen? The fact is, as a scientist, are experimenting on dead matter and trying to reanimate it, trying to grow body organs from a piece of a tissue and everything, like Frankenstein's monster. We are trying to create cures by mutating a virus, trying to create super soldiers to be stronger and faster by introducing a virus or a serum. Is it possible that zombie day will happen? And you hear people talk about it, and there is actually people out there who do prepare for zombie day. Question is, are you one of them? So, Tweety, you think zombie day could happen?
Well, with basically like a rabies outbreak and mad cow disease, it's actually very possible, especially if it actually goes airborne, because it's already known that people can actually catch rabies as well as the mad cow disease. It takes the frontal lobes, and literally, it kills the front part of your brain, and leaving you with just basic primal motor skills. So if it actually goes airborne, we're screwed.
I remember the first Living Dead movie we watched. I'm talking about the newer version, where they had this decomposed body on the table, and they asked her, and says, she's going, brains. And they asked us, why you want her brain? To stop the decay. To stop the decay, the feeling of decay, and all this stuff. The point is, it's like a primal instinct on anything. You eat to survive. So, is it possible? Yes, with all the mutations, with all the scientists who are illegally experimenting. Look at Hitler and all those scientists and the things they did to people. There was videos. They showed a video of twins. Twins, mind you, with a clear plastic casing over their intestines. And they was treating one with one kind of disease and the other one with no kind of disease at all. And they wanted to see the difference on how twins reacted. So is it possible? Yes. Will America be to blame for it? Who knows? Will England be to blame for it? Who knows? Will it happen in a isolated island somewhere remote and a virus spreads? Possibility. The fact is, we get more and more into the Amazon jungle. We get into other areas that has been remote and isolated for centuries. We are exposing ourselves to unknown diseases and stuff that is out there. And as our body becomes immune to things like antibiotics and other ingredients, and as they keep taking and produce preservatives in the food of our bodies and things, it can very happen. So, like that old 60 movie, you seen the guy walking?
Yeah, that movie was so cheesy.
He was just buried. And the thing is, they walk so slow. But you can't get away. You can't get away from somebody that's walking that slow. Dang, my grandma could have run faster than that. Yeah, I can run faster than that with one good leg.
Yeah, the only way you would even have to worry about that situation if it's a complete horde of them. If they're walking that slow, but I think we all kind of know if you just kind of recently dead and if you could be reanimated and your body is fully intact, you're going to be fast. If you're an athlete, you're going to be an athlete, at least for a little while, until the decay sets in.
Can you imagine this 300-pound one?
Hey, have you seen the new of the Dawn of the Dead?
Oh, yeah, they can move fast.
Whoa, man, that one was woo-wee. He was fast. He scared me.
But the fact is, in the event of and the zombie pop, and you have seen different types of movies where they showed them flat out mutate and they could flat out get it. They could reason to think and things. Can that not happen in a real situation? Could it not happen? Because the virus is attacking, and the virus is mutated, just like we talk about lice. Lice is mutated to resist the over-counter prescriptions. So if they can mutate, why can't something else mutate? So
then you got to look at the mutation from it actually start jumping species.
and it will.
And that's really the true dangerous part about any kind of epidemic disease, that they can jump species, and once it jumps species, it'll be almost impossible to stop it at that point.
You think about dogs. The dogs run fast. You got lions and everything. They're designed and they're built to do this, where human beings can be chased down by a pack of dogs. So the mutation happens. It spreads. You get infected. We watched a zombie movie where people with type A blood, it was type O positive.
Wormwood.
Wormwood.
I don't remember exactly what. It was definitely two different kind of blood types.
Of blood, and they was immune. But other people was not immune to it.
That movie was an Australian movie, and they kind of gave a different scenario about that, and it was actually a meteor that hit, that caused all that.
The meteor hit and caused it, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like many other movies. The fact is that we're really not prepared for it. You'll see the old movies, you'll see the movies where they'll sit there and they'll start cremating the bodies, or they'll start killing them off, or whatever, and it gets out of hand, and then you got zombies everywhere. But in all honesty, real scenario, if you're living 4 hours away from people, then all at once you see 500 zombies shows up in the middle of nowhere. The nearest town is 50 miles away, and you got a horde of zombies showing up.
Z Nation.
I don't know about that. I mean, the fact is a lot of it, they're showing them like popping up everywhere. But of course, it's just a movie. It's just a movie when you think about it.
Well, if they're herding, migrating like animals, then it's very possible, because they run out of food source like any other animal. You're going out searching for food, and they kind of showed, like in some of these newer movies, like The Walking Dead and Z Nation, how they kind of go more of an animalistic, into a migration herd.
Well, when that happens, but let's say at first, you have a chance, you have a time frame, and maybe a limited time frame, to reinforce your facilities, to reinforce your food supplies, to reinforce your body ornament, because that window's going to close. And as that window closes, because the fact is, you've seen some of the zombie movies show them just eating animals. I mean, they didn't eat no animals, they just ate humans. They didn't care about the animals. But in all realistic fact, they're going to eat everything. They're going to eat anything they can get a hold of if they're hungry enough. So they will travel in the herds when the time comes.
Well, they kind of show that kind of basically in Resident Evil, where the whole planet became a desert because they were eating everything.
Oh, yeah.
So it wasn't just people that they were attacking and eating. It was animals too, and animals were also getting infected.
Mm-hmm. So that's just it. Will it happen? What kind of zombies could they be? Will they mutate and develop intelligence? Will they become changing? Will they become more dangerous? Will they become hordes? Your window time frame is going to be limited on what you can do, on what you yourself has to do in that time frame. You need to reinforce your facilities. You need to reinforce food. You need to get seeds to raise food. You need to have water. You need to think on that. And also, I believe, in all honesty, the zombies will be able to smell us. I think because they can smell the difference between the living and the dead.
Well,
I believe, in all honesty, they can smell.
Well, when you're looking at somebody who's got rabies, I mean, there's actually some of their senses that are very heightened too. Even with a person who has that. Granted, there's going to be a time frame where those people die, physically die, and they're not going to be reanimated. But nonetheless, the fact is, though, that's a very plausible zombie apocalypse kind of scenario. When you got to think there's nearly 8 billion people on this planet, so basically during that, and you got to think too, these people are not decaying. I mean, they're coming after you like rabid animals. Yeah. They're not
Their decay is going to be slowed down by this disease that's in their body. They're going to eventually rot, but you think about it, they're not going to rot like a normal person would rot in a matter of weeks. It will be years of a slow rot. And I believe as long as they're able to consume some kind of food, it would delay their rot. I believe, in all honesty, I believe that's possible, and I may be wrong on it. I did remember old British one where these people managed to get away from the things on the coastline, but eventually they starved to death. These zombies starved to death because they could not find food. And that's what happened in that situation, because the whole island of England was isolated off because it. I think there's going to be many different types of varieties. We don't know what will be out there, where they could be faster than a speeding bullet, as the Superman thing goes. They could be slow and sluggish like this. They could be traveling in hordes. They could develop a intelligence like the Day of the Dead, where they develop that intelligence and they start doing routines and things.
Oh, the remake of Day of the Dead with
Yeah.
John Leguizamo.
You remember the black guy zombie who was a garage maintenance guy?
Oh yeah, the big guy. Yeah.
He was in control of all of them.
He became the alpha.
So it could happen like that. We have to think on the possibility that it can happen in it. And what are we going to do? First of all, I don't know if I want to be staying in town or not. As soon as the first outbreaks get started, if I'm able to afford to leave, I'm going to get away from town if I'm at all possibly can, because the outbreak can be very gradual. You remember the comedy Shaun of the Dead?
I love Shaun of the Dead.
You remember how they would just sit there playing the video games and all this stuff, and then it wasn't like all at once. I mean, they were just walking around, and at first people were just like, yeah, whatever. And then next thing you know, they were there.
Yeah.
So, do you think zombies are going to be coming? Do you think they are going to be slow because they are animated dead? Or do you think they're going to be just moving around and they're going to get you?
I don't think they're gonna be dancing, but yeah.
No, they could. They could. Hey, remember the video where the scientists had the disco music?
Yeah, but he wasn't dead though.
Not yet.
That was still Wormwood.
Yep, but he would have been later after he got his hand bitten
And
off.
anybody who's never watched Wormwood, because I guarantee most of you have never heard of it, definitely watch it. It's actually it's good, funny, but it's still like it's pretty decent.
And again, you have to also think, if in a zombie apocalypse happens, will they develop an intelligence? Will they become a society, and will they become more dangerous or more selective? I remember watching one old zombie movie where, in all honesty, some of the zombies had developed an intelligence, and they was using humans as breeders to raise. They was out there doing the car, and they was using them to breed offspring and things for livestock, because they was using them as food. We could become livestock and people's food. So, in the zombie apocalypse, it may happen, it may not. Let's hope not. And I want to just tell you now, if I become one, shoot me. Because I don't want to be around. I sure don't want to be no zombie with rotten flesh and decomposing and all this other stuff. And the only kind of brains I like is hog brains and scrambled eggs, and that's some good eating.
And you did hear she said the key word was brains.
That's right.
That's gross.
So I want all y'all to be safe, be happy, be zombified.